So this video is divided into two parts. The first part is about the importance of saying no relative to accomplishing your goals. And the second part is majority of the video, and it's about 3 minutes in that I start talking about the second part. And that is focused on the importance of saying no to develop and maintain healthy relationships, not only friendships, but intimate relationships, any type of relationship. So without further ado, here's the video, guys. Hope you enjoy. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about the importance of saying no. This is a skill that a lot of people actually lack, being able to say no and stand their ground on their no. And being able to reject something and say no to it is going to be very important for us to be able to make progress towards our goals and to therefore accomplish them. And when I started thinking about the importance of saying no in this way, I started noticing progress towards what it is that I want to accomplish. Any goals that you have, you're going to see more progress if you develop this ability to say no. And let me tell you why. Anytime you make a commitment to something, you are then also rejecting other things. Now, this isn't something that we consciously think about a whole lot. If we commit to a romantic partner in a monogamous relationship, we are saying no and we are rejecting having sex with anybody else. Now, that example is really straightforward. It's really obvious. But there's a lot of other commitments that we make. Anytime you make a goal, you're committing to a goal. Or hopefully you are. Otherwise, you're probably not going to accomplish the goal. But if you're setting goals, you should be making a commitment to achieving those goals. And anytime we make a commitment, it's the same with the marital situation or the intimate relationship situation. By saying yes to something, you're saying no to what that thing is not. So by saying yes to being in an intimate relationship, you're saying no to being single and having sex with anybody else. By saying yes to exercising every single day, you're saying no to missing an exercise or to not working out in any given day. So it's a very important question to ask ourselves with regard to any of our goals. By saying yes and by committing to this goal, making a commitment to any goal you have, what should you be rejecting and what should you be saying no to? That is a very important question to ask yourself with regards to any goal that you have. See, goals are equally about what you should omit as they are about what you should include. So being healthy is equally about including healthy food in my diet and an exercise regimen in my day-to-day schedule. It's equally important to omit binge drinking, binge eating, late nights out where I'm not getting a lot of sleep, finding excuses to miss workouts. There's a lot of things that we should be rejecting when we commit to a goal. So this is kind of straightforward, but it's something that slips under the rug. You'd be surprised to see how many answers you come up with to the question, if I'm going after this goal, what should I be omitting? You might be surprised to see that those things that you should probably be rejecting to commit to the goal you have, you're still acting on. Now I want to talk about the importance of saying no when it comes to relationships. Now we all know at least one person who fits under the title of a people pleaser. Now, people pleasing is a very toxic behavior that a lot of people like to take part in. Now, on the surface, it doesn't seem so bad because what you think you're trying to do, if you're a people pleaser, you justify it to yourself by saying, I just want to make everybody happy. And on the surface, without too much thought, that sounds like a noble effort. But when we dig into that a little bit, what does trying to make everybody else happy entail? And why? Why do you think it's so important to make everybody else happy? So when you try to question why you value that so much, you'll see it probably has something to do with a childhood wound. Maybe you felt that your parents weren't happy and you felt some responsibility for that. And you just wanted to make them happy. You took on that role of being a people pleaser. And people pleasing, the reason that it's so toxic is because it entails a lot of self-sabotage. You think it's a noble cause to put everyone else before you. But it's in a very counterintuitive way, you actually do have to put yourself first. You have to consider your own health and wellness first. And if you don't, it just comes back to bite you in the ass. You're just going to grow resentful of the people that you were trying to please. Because fundamentally what people pleasing is searching for validation by pleasing others, even at the cost of your own health and wellness, or even at the cost of self-sabotage. So the most obvious reasons that this is very toxic for somebody who's a people pleaser is because you're going to spread yourself too thin and you're not going to be looking after your own needs. By self-sabotaging, what that means a lot of the time in the context of people pleasing is you're putting your own needs and your own health and wellness to the side to please others. A lot of the time, it's not even choosing your health or their health. It's sacrificing your own health for a little bit more convenience in someone else's day. And that obviously over time is going to catch up with you. Like I said, you're going to grow to be resentful of others, but really this is something that you are doing to yourself. You have to be able to say no when somebody says, hey, I need help moving. Are you able to help me? But really you have a lot of work to do and you have a lot of stuff to catch up on or whatever. You have things that you're committed to doing that day to look after yourself, but instead you say yes to helping somebody else because you're trying to be a good friend and you want to please that person. Or maybe your boss asks you to stay late at work one day, and even though you had a date night planned with your partner, you go ahead and say yes to your boss because you didn't want to let them down. And now what you're doing is letting your own relationship down. So you can see where people pleasing is just not a behavior conducive to your own health. It's not a healthy behavior. It's very toxic. Not only is it toxic for you, but it's also toxic for the relationships that you find yourself in with this dynamic, and for the other person in the relationship as well. And let me elaborate on this a little bit. A lot of times in relationships where people pleasing takes place, you have a victim and a saver. Now, let's say this is a relationship. This could be a relationship, a romantic relationship. This could be a relationship with a friend. It could be a relationship with a colleague, with a parent, with a sibling. Any kind of relationship, this dynamic could take place, where you have the victim and the saver. The victim is somebody who isn't taking responsibility for their own problems and who is always starting fires and who's entitled to the point where they think other people are obligated to help them put out the fire. Now, the victim, under the surface, is actually acting from a place of seeking attention. They're seeking validation through attention from others. They want to know that you value them, and that's why you're helping them. The saver is the other person in the relationship, the person who is going to help you put out the fire. So it's like two pieces of a puzzle. The victim and the saver fit together perfectly. And this dynamic is a very toxic dynamic in any relationship with people. The victim starts the fire and seeks help for the fire, and the saver helps you put out the fire. And under the surface of the saver, they're seeking validation by knowing that the victim needs them to put out the fire and that they're doing a good thing and they're helping someone. But the reason this is often a very toxic dynamic is because the victim is entitled. They don't take responsibility for their own problems, and they think that it's other people that are obligated to help them. The victim is also often very manipulative. They're going to say some manipulative stuff like, oh, so you're not going to help me with this? Okay, that's nice. I see how much this friendship is worth to you, or some like manipulative bullshit like that. That's clearly a toxic thing to say. Whereas the saver is being toxic by enabling the victim to keep up this behavior by being entitled and thinking that everybody else is obligated to help them. Also by being manipulative, they're enabling them to keep being manipulative. And they're actually robbing them of the opportunity to grow by learning how to solve their own problems. Now, the saver wants to help people, right? They also want to validate themselves by feeling like they're a helper and get validation from others by feeling valued and needed. But fundamentally, the right thing to do, the best thing to do to actually help a victim, and this is a little bit counterintuitive, but tell them that they need to learn how to deal with some of their own problems. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with helping people. It's great to help people. I love helping people. That's what this channel is all about. But if you're helping someone, it should be fully genuine. You should fully want to help them, and it should come from your own volition. There should be no need for the other person to manipulate you into helping them, and you shouldn't be helping them out of these people-pleasing tendencies. It should be out of your own volition. That's where helping people can be a healthy thing, when it doesn't include self-sacrifice and self-sabotage. But if you don't feel that full, genuine volition, and if you can't afford to put your energy into helping someone, you need to be able to say no. It's so common that people can't say no, even when it comes at the cost of their own health and wellness and their own energy that they can't afford to contribute to you. So it's so important to become aware of this tendency that you have to people please and see where it's coming from, and to know that if you actually want to help them, you won't enable their toxic behavior, and you will give them the opportunity to solve their own issues. That is actually helping a person. And if they're going to go ahead and try to manipulate you into helping them anyway, well, that's not a person that you want in your life. That's not a friendship that you want to have. The victim-saver archetypes go together like two pieces of a puzzle. If you're a victim, you're going to attract savers into your life. If you're a saver, you're going to attract victims in your life. And that is something that you want to grow out of. You don't want to stay in that type of dynamic. And you'll notice that if you develop this ability to say no, it'll seem like the people who are victims in your life will just go away. You won't be a vibrational match to that type of behavior anymore. But first, you have to actually develop the ability to say no. And once you grow and once you develop in that way, you're going to notice your relationships are going to get a lot healthier. You might have to have some uncomfortable conversations with someone and stand your ground in some ways that might feel uncomfortable while you're doing it, but it's going to feel very empowering, and it's going to pay you dividends in the quality of your relationships from here on out. So for those two reasons of being way better at accomplishing and making progress towards any goal you have, and developing healthier relationships in your life, it is so important to know how to say no. That's it for today's video, guys. If you liked it, be sure to give it a like, subscribe to my channel for more content like this, and let me know what you thought in the comments down below. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Have a good one.